Am I the asshole for serving my husband's family mac and cheese for dinner? My husband, Asian, and I, American, welcomed our firstborn 4 weeks ago. The baby is healthy, thank God. But I'm exhausted, haven't fixed my hair, barely able to shower and cannot sleep. My husband's family had been pressuring us to visit to meet the baby. I tried to hold them off as much as I could, but yesterday, I was surprised to find them standing on the porch. Turns out hubby invited them for dinner. I was embarrassed and felt like I wasn't ready for visitors, judgmental ones at that winking face. 'Cause the house was a mess, y'all. Anyways, my husband sat with them while I fed my son, then later I asked my husband if we should order takeout for dinner. He said, no, because his parents would find this rude and unwelcoming. He suggested that I go inside the kitchen and prepare something, anything long as it's homemade. I said fine, then went and made some mac and cheese. The reason I prepared this meal is because of how easy it is. Once I served the family, my husband's mom looked at me and was appalled. I noticed something was wrong. She asked if I really found it appropriate to serve her and the family mac and cheese. I asked why not, and she went on a rant about how disrespectful this was and that I clearly have no experience in what is right and wrong when it comes to hosting. I said, excuse me? Who said I signed up to host an expected visit from them? And she took it as in I didn't want them there. Her husband said they were just there to finally see the baby that I kept them from seeing for an entire month. That's a whole month of his life they missed out on. We had an argument and they decided to go home. My husband said that deciding to serve his family mac and cheese was more offensive than serving them nothing at all. I told him I was too exhausted to cook their traditional feasts, that I was forced to learn from his mom. He took offense and said that I was being mean and disrespectful towards not only his family but his culture. I went inside the bedroom to stay with my son. My husband stayed on the phone with his family for an hour, then kept giving me the cold shoulder and refused to eat what I cook in support of his family. I understand how some guests might find it offensive, especially his family. But I was just trying to make a quick homemade meal like my husband wanted. What's wrong with mac and cheese? Edit okay. So I'm seeing commenters here offering to come over for some mac and cheese. It's amazing to hear that some people here would appreciate this kind of meal. It kinda makes me feel relieved and reassures me that I didn't mess this up entirely. Come on in, y'all. I'll be more than happy to serve you some mac and cheese. Some of y'all even offered to bring mashed potatoes and pizza. Lol, would love to have y'all over sometime. This isn't a culture clash, these people are just Oz. There isn't an Asian culture I'm aware of that doesn't practice some form of postpartum confinement where it is expected that the new mother do nothing other than rest and bond with the baby. If they were so traditional, they should have showed up with food, offered to clean the house, and run a load of laundry while they're at it. Not the asshole BTW. Edited to add. Thanks for the awards, y'all. I'm Asian too, and even though I live far from home now, I totally enjoyed being able to just rest up and bond with my babies in the early days postpartum. Not the asshole. Why on earth would your husband not tell you? Also, does he need a map to the kitchen? Also, traditionally family bring food to the new mom, not the other way around. Hang on a second. I'm Asian and in my culture, new moms are supposed to be coddled, fed nourishing soups etc., and certainly not expected to cook a feast for guests. Your husband and in-laws are definitely the Oz, and you are not the asshole for serving mac and cheese. On a human level, culture schmulture, where is their caring? But one point of info. Why did you wait so long to let the parents visit? It sounds like there is more history here, because that delay, edit for immediate family only, not other visitors, would normally not be looked well upon. Edit. Not sure if it applies to poster situation, but in my subculture, it's very important for the grandparents to meet the baby ASAP. Even for a very brief visit. Not saying I agree, due to the whole patriarchal lineage thing. Not the asshole. Tell them it's customary for them to bring you food. That's the unspoken tradition. Someone has a baby or someone dies. You bring the family food, or order them food, or give them gift cards for food. The last thing you should be worried about is cooking dinner. Not the asshole. Girl, come on. The issue here is your husband. He has no right to talk to you the way he did ever. Least of all after you have just given birth to his child. You have a very long and hard road ahead of you. I strongly advise you to keep some money separate for when you need to leave. It's very common for abusive men to really show themselves after they think they have their victim trapped. This is exactly where you both are. It will be very hard for you to leave and he's showing his true colors. Please keep up your relationship with your own friends and family. You are going to need them. And when you do leave, you will look back on this moment and wish you'd left now. It's only going to get worse. Good luck. Not the asshole. I am firmly of the opinion that if someone is coming to visit a newborn, they bring the food to ensure they're not a burden to the new parents. If your husband wanted them specific food, he is perfectly capable of getting off his ass and cooking it himself. Am I the asshole for rubbing it in my boyfriend's face how much I make in front of our friends? We've been together for 2 years, living together for 1. When we were on our first date, he asked if I pursued a higher education after high school, which I didn't. I explained that I failed high school and he couldn't believe it. He was a high achiever and couldn't possibly understand how somebody could fail high school. He finds it amusing to tease me about it, and truthfully it doesn't bother me. I have a good job and I've done great things despite not having a traditional education. At the very worst it's a little annoying, but I refuse to lose sleep over it. Tonight we had friends over and the conversation turned towards high school and what subjects we did. I listed off what I studied in my final year and he began to laugh, saying that it didn't matter because I failed anyway. Then, since he'd had too much to drink, he took it a little far and started poking fun at how only idiots fail high school. I tried to play it off, but the alcohol got the better of me as well and I snapped, responding, "That's why I earn $48 per hour and you earn $26, right? Because you did so well in high school and that set you up for success?" Him and one of his friends said that I'd ruined the night, but a couple of my friends said he had it coming. Not the asshole, he did have it coming. Not to be the leave him person so early LMFAO, but if he did that on the first date and has been an asshole about it ever since, why stick around? You can find someone who doesn't find it funny to demean you as fun. Not the asshole. He shouldn't be dishing it out if he can't take it. Edit. Also want to add, maybe it's a good time to talk about how your history with high school shouldn't really be brought up anymore. Really sounds like he pokes fun, belittles you for it because he's insecure that you're more successful than he is. Not the asshole. It's odd that he has held onto this joke for so long, especially about high school. A healthy partner would support and uplift your accomplishments, career, instead of focusing on demeaning you. A couple of my friends said he had it coming. He did. He played the game fuck around and find out and he lost. Not the asshole, and good for you for standing up for yourself. Not the asshole, but why are you with him? I think that's a pretty clear indicator of how he views you. Not the asshole. You didn't ruin the night. He pushed and pushed until you snapped back and then he went all, surprised Pikachu. Not gonna say this by itself is breakup worthy, but that kind of bullshit negging would have me questioning, at least. Why does he feel it necessary to put you down so badly? Am I the asshole for throwing a tantrum upon finding out I'm getting another sibling? I'm 18, female, I'm the middle child of 9. 7 out of the 9 of us have severe physical and mental disabilities, and I firmly believe my parents kept popping out more in order to have a healthy child they can force to help out. Those 2 healthy children are me and my twin brother, Jake. 9 kids, 7 of whom are severely disabled, and the other 2 being financially dependent on you is a lot. My parents are shit broke, and me and Jake have been footing the bill a lot. The main current example I have of this is me and Jake were meant to be going on a week-long trip with friends that we had both saved up for, but sibling needed something and we had to give our savings up. We were going to move out recently, but the money we saved towards a deposit was also needed, and never paid back. Jake and I can't do any activities or go out very often with the global situation like this, so these were 2 things that were important to us that were robbed. The 9 of us range from 25 down to 3. And I was really thinking my parents were done popping kids out because my mom is 43, but no. Clearly not. They dropped the bomb on me on Saturday, and I immediately lost my shit. I started saying things like they can't afford another baby, or more therapies, they can't even properly take care of the 7 that need it without relying on me and Jake and other family members. Eventually I told my mom just to abort it, and I kinda regret that, kinda don't. My mom started to cry. My dad started to shout back at me. I simply said, "Fuck this, I'm leaving," and left on Saturday night. I'm staying at a friend's house, and my parents have been calling and texting. Can't be stressing mom out while she's pregnant bullshit. Jake did text though. Said I was being a bit of an ass over this, and what I said to mom was uncalled for. He also thinks I'm the ass for running out when he can't do everything on his own. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You and your twin need to move out, they've parentified you big time. That is abuse. Not the asshole. You're not wrong. You're also not responsible for the well-being of your younger siblings. Your parents are. Move out if you can, or they will just keep using you for childcare. Not the asshole. Agree with the above poster saying this is abusive. I would move out as quickly as humanly possible. And if money is the problem, start putting some aside and don't tell anyone. That money is for you and you alone. Not the asshole. You are a legal adult. Make plans and move out. Jake should do the same. Stop giving them money. Move out of the house. Not the asshole. I don't understand why people continue to have children when A, they can't afford it, and B, most of their biological children have life-changing disabilities conditions. Having disabled children isn't a bad thing, but when you can't care for them properly, it's unfair for you to continue bringing more into the world. Not the asshole. Honestly, an abortion sounds like the smartest idea. You and Jake should make plans to move out and stop financially supporting them. Asshole. You should, however, apologize about the abortion comment. Yes, it's the smartest thing to do, but it's her body and making comments like that is out of line. But I sympathize with your outrage. Would I be the asshole for reporting my child's teacher? Alt-ACC because my family knows my Reddit. My spouse, 41M, and I, 41F, have a child that we'll call Hannah, 15 female. Last week I picked Hannah up and she said that one of her teachers, we'll call her Ms. K, took her phone for looking at it during class. I told her she needed to keep her phone in her pocket during class, then Hannah tells that Ms. K still hasn't returned it. I thought that was a little weird, but whatever, get it tomorrow. Every day after Hannah tells me she asked for it back and Ms. K refuses. On Thursday I sent her an email asking when we can expect the phone back and that I would like her to have it for when she works this weekend. No reply. A whole week of this passes. Today, Hannah gets in my car and tells me she asked and Ms. K didn't even answer. She just ignored her. I lost my patience and went into the school. I found Ms. K standing outside her classroom and told her it was time she give me the phone back. She tells me that Hannah needs to learn to stop using her phone in class, and I tell her that I agree, and that she can take her phone away every day in her class if she feels she needs to, but it's not acceptable for her to just keep the phone for this long. I made a scene, students and teachers alike were staring, but she relented and said she would get the phone out of her office and came back with it about 3 minutes later. I feel like an idiot for not checking the phone when she handed it to me. I didn't give Hannah back her phone from my purse until she was done with her assignments for today and a couple minutes after she comes back to me in a panic. 2 things were wrong. 1, the screen was cracked and it wasn't before. 2, she had to re-log into her Apple ID, which we thought was odd. She then looked at her account settings and saw a second Apple ID, with Ms. K's full name and avatar. We think she may have merged the data or something too, because there are contacts we don't recognize on the phone. I lost it, told Hannah she can't use the phone for now because I'm worried if Ms. K has access to anything on her end, and sent an email to her demanding an explanation. There has not been a reply. I'm seriously considering reporting her to an administrator and having her pay for the screen repair. But my husband thinks that will cause her to retaliate on our daughter and that I might have overstepped by confronting her today. He also thinks it's possible she may have made a mistake and accidentally thought she was on her own iPhone or something, and that his IT guy could help with separating the IDs. He thinks we should let it go now that the phone is returned. I agree that he might be right about Ms. K retaliating, and I might be overreacting, but I'm having a hard time accepting the state that she returned Hannah's phone and just letting things go. Would I be the asshole for reporting her? Not the asshole. Report this. The teacher took the phone for a week. Damaged it and had the audacity to log themselves in it as if they owned it. And they even refused to hand it to you initially. Report this ASAP. NTA. It seems more likely the teacher swapped your daughter's undamaged phone with her own. AITA, you should be able to see the unique ID from the purchase of the phone. Compare it to the one in your possession. If it is your daughter's phone and not swapped, she is responsible for the damages while it was in her care. Oh, easy, not the asshole. It's hellraisin' time. Keep your cool. Send an email to the principal outlining the situation as briefly as you can. Your daughter's property was confiscated, but it was returned damaged and obviously tampered with. This teacher violated your daughter's privacy. Be matter of fact, and ask for a meeting to discuss the situation and how the school will compensate for the phone damage, and what consequences there will be for the device tampering and privacy violation. Give a deadline for them to respond, with a promise to escalate if there is no response. If you can put your daughter in a different classroom for the rest of the school year, Do consider doing this. Not the asshole. You have to actively log out of your Apple ID and put another in. This was not a case of mixing up the phones. I'm sure your daughter's lock screen is different. Most likely a different case, etc. Believe me, I have never accidentally picked up someone else's phone and thought it was my own long enough to change the Apple ID. Taking her phone during class is one thing, going in and changing things is quite another. Not the asshole. I'm a teacher that has had to confiscate phones. Students have the option to hand it to me before class. If they don't and I catch them using it, I hold it till end of day and have a convo with student. If it happens again, I call home and let the parent and student know the parent has to come retrieve it. If she used it for her own purposes, that's a huge no-no. It's not hers. She's only tasked with keeping it safe until it's back in the hands of whom it belongs. Call up admin. Not the asshole. 1. Report her to the administration. 2. Stop in to your nearest Apple store. Explain the situation and tell them that before they fix things you need a rundown of everything that was done on the phone so you have evidence to present to the principal on top the emails that the teacher did not reply to. 3. Have Hannah moved to another class.